According to a study done in 2006, every second, 28,258 people are watching pornography on the internet in North America. Internet pornography has become increasingly popular as well as increasingly accessible. Having easy access to porn creates many problems, including giving people unrealistic expectations of bodies and sex and encouraging inequality amongst genders, particularly causing increased violence against women. Because porn is mostly made for and based around the enjoyment of men and not for women, it usually portrays women in a submissive way and oftentimes is quite violent towards females. Repeatedly being exposed to this sexual violence normalizes these actions, causing individuals to be more likely to exhibit this behavior. This has been backed up by lots of research, including Dr. Bandura's famous Bogodol experiment and Guloien's research on the effects of violent pornography. The normalization of sexual violence through pornography not only affects a man's personal relationships with women, but also makes him more likely to pay for sex, which can quickly spiral into involvement within the human trafficking industry. Being willing to pay for porn is not a huge leap from wanting to purchase a human for sexual purposes, and the sex industry is extremely oppressive to sex workers. The Global Slavery Index estimated that in 2016, 45.8 million people were trapped in some sort of slavery. A large portion of this is the sex trade. Women everywhere are affected by this, from a 2-year-old Cambodian girl to a 45-year-old Canadian woman. When people start watching porn, they are contributing to the sex trade. And by participating in this way, they're essentially giving their stamp of approval to forced prostitution. The younger one is exposed to the themes of sexual violence contained in pornography, the more that these ideals will be ingrained in behavior. A national survey done for kids and adolescents about porn exposure found that 90% of 10 to 17-year-olds have been exposed to porn at least once during their lifetime. If we want decreased levels of sexual violence, we need to stop exposing young people to pornography. We also need to stop normalizing and start teaching that it creates false expectations and is not the reality of most sexual experiences. In order to fix these issues, new laws and regulations should be put in place. According to Canadian legislature, there are no laws against adult pornography in Canada. I think a bill should be passed to make porn less accessible. An educational component should also be integrated into schools with a goal of teaching students about the dangers of internet pornography and sexual violence in general.